Appalling situation. Carney crushed on CBC. Poilievre strikes back hard. Reactions and analysis. In a high-stakes political showdown that captivated the nation, Prime Minister Mark Carney found himself under intense scrutiny during a live CBC interview, facing pointed questions from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. The exchange, which quickly became a focal point of public discourse, highlighted the deep divisions within Canadian politics and underscored the challenges facing Carney's minority government. The interview commenced with Poilievre accusing Carney of economic mismanagement, particularly in areas such as housing affordability and inflation. He argued that Carney's policies had failed to address the pressing concerns of ordinary Canadians, leading to increased financial strain for many households. Carney, maintaining his composure, defended his government's actions, emphasizing initiatives aimed at reducing housing costs and supporting economic growth. However, Poilievre countered by highlighting the persistent challenges, suggesting that the government's efforts had been insufficient. The public's reaction to the interview was swift and polarized. Supporters of Poilievre praised his aggressive questioning, viewing it as a necessary challenge to a government they perceived as out of touch with the realities faced by Canadians. Conversely, Carney's supporters expressed concern over the confrontational tone, arguing that it undermined the decorum expected in political discourse. Social media platforms erupted with commentary, reflecting the nation's divided sentiments. Political analysts suggest that the interview may have significant implications for both leaders. Some believe that Poilievre's assertiveness could bolster his standing within the Conservative Party and among voters seeking a more combative opposition. Conversely, others argue that the confrontation could backfire, portraying Poilievre as overly aggressive and lacking in policy substance. For Carney, the interview presents an opportunity to reaffirm his leadership and address the concerns raised by his critics. In the aftermath of the interview, Carney's government made a bold move in foreign policy by officially recognizing the State of Palestine. This decision aligned Canada with over 140 UN member states and was seen as a significant departure from previous administrations' positions. Carney defended the move, stating that it was necessary to support a two-state solution and address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. However, the decision sparked controversy domestically, with critics accusing the government of using foreign policy to distract from pressing domestic issues. The Conservative Party condemned the recognition, labeling it as a disastrous move that rewarded terrorism and undermined Israel's security. Poilievre characterized the decision as a political stunt aimed at appeasing left-wing voters, suggesting that it was a calculated move to shift attention away from the government's domestic challenges. He also accused Carney of being influenced by corporate lobbyists, alleging that the Prime Minister's policies prioritized corporate profits over the welfare of ordinary Canadians. The recognition of Palestine also had immediate implications for Canada's foreign relations. Israel's ambassador to Ottawa condemned the decision, calling it a betrayal of Canada's long-standing support for Israel. The United States, under President Donald Trump, remained silent on the issue, though previous statements had indicated opposition to similar moves. The lack of a strong response from the U.S. was noted by Canadian officials, who viewed it as a sign of shifting dynamics in international relations. Domestically, the recognition of Palestine was met with mixed reactions. Some Canadians expressed support for the decision, viewing it as a step toward a more balanced and just foreign policy. Others, however, felt that it was an unnecessary provocation that could strain relations with key allies and complicate Canada's position in the Middle East. The debate highlighted the complexities of foreign policy decision-making and the challenges of balancing ethical considerations with strategic interests. Meanwhile, Carney's government continued to grapple with domestic challenges, particularly in the housing sector. The housing affordability crisis remained a central issue, with rising home prices and rents placing significant pressure on Canadian families. Poilievre seized on this issue, accusing Carney of failing to implement effective policies to address the crisis. He proposed measures such as eliminating the federal sales tax on homes worth $1.3 million or less and incentivizing municipalities to expedite permits and reduce development charges. Carney responded by highlighting the government's efforts to increase housing supply and support first-time homebuyers. He emphasized initiatives aimed at reducing red tape and encouraging private sector investment in housing development. However, critics argued that these measures had been insufficient to meet the growing demand for affordable housing and that more decisive action was needed. The ongoing debate over housing affordability underscored the broader economic challenges facing Canada. Inflation remained a concern, with rising prices for essential goods and services eroding purchasing power. Poilievre accused the government of mismanaging the economy, leading to increased financial strain for Canadians. Carney defended his government's economic policies, pointing to job growth and economic expansion as evidence of success. However, the persistent challenges in housing and other sectors suggested that more comprehensive solutions were needed. The media played a significant role in shaping public perception of the interview and its aftermath. Coverage varied, with some outlets focusing on Poilievre's aggressive questioning, while others highlighted Carney's composed responses. The differing narratives contributed to the polarized public reaction, underscoring the influence of media in political discourse. As both leaders navigated the fallout from the interview and the subsequent policy decisions, the political landscape remained fluid. Carney faced the challenge of maintaining his government's agenda while addressing the concerns raised by his critics. Poilievre, meanwhile, sought to capitalize on the opportunity to position himself as a strong alternative to the current administration. The coming weeks were expected to be critical in determining the political trajectory of both leaders. The public's response to their actions and decisions would likely influence their standing in the upcoming federal election. The interview and its aftermath served as a reminder of the high stakes in political discourse and the profound impact that such confrontations can have on a nation's political landscape. In conclusion, the CBC interview between Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre marked a pivotal moment in Canadian politics. It highlighted the deep divisions within the political landscape and underscored the challenges facing the current administration. As both leaders continued to navigate the complexities of governance, the nation's attention remained fixed on their actions and decisions, awaiting the next chapter in this unfolding political drama. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for latest updates.